So I'm just outside of the entrance to the Wainfleet Bog, and you'll find this interesting piece of machinery here. And this has been left here from long ago. As you can see, this area was all paved, but nature has started to reclaim this area. A lot of trees growing through it and some moss here. But get a little closer to this machine here. At first I thought it was some sort of kiln for drying out the peat moss, because I knew at one point in time they did harvest peat from here. However, once you come around to this side, you'll see what this contraption's really for. So just down here, there's a pipe that sticks out the side. What that does, you'll see it looks almost like a vacuum cleaner, and that's basically what was going on. They drive this along the top of the bog, and this would suck up all the peat, and it bring it inside, and they might have dried in there as well, I don't really know. I'm guessing all this stuff in the back here was just to power the vacuum and not some sort of a propane heater like I originally thought. But this is just laying here getting overgrown. Not far from the parking lot at all. You'll see my truck hiding over there. So if you're interested in old equipment and a little piece of history, come check this out. So just beyond the gate here, you'll notice a little bridge here that's quite aged. And you'll see some rails going across it. These you can actually follow up here, and you can see them sticking out of dirt here. And this whole trail here probably follows this old rail bed. Now these rails are very narrow, which tells me that that's not your typical train, but probably just a little push cart trolley type thing to lug the peat back and forth. So from this point on, this trail is completely dead to me. No way I'm tromping through that. I keep finding these big metal tubes here. I'm not sure if they're left over from long ago, or if they're planning on doing something to drain this area. There's a little side trail here. Once again, there is the train track, and another one that goes over there. So I'm going to follow this side trail. It seems like this trail here is just an old rail line, same one that I've been following for a while, but just goes on and on. Very hard to walk on. If you've ever walked on train tracks, you'll know that you're constantly trying to step on or over these old boards. But everywhere else is just swampland. So very interesting that you know, you can walk through this and you got a nice little boardwalk. Now, even though it is January, the water is only slightly frozen. You'll see the top layer there is frozen, but the ground is quite swampy. I was hoping it'd be a little more frozen, but no such luck. After following this train track here for about 20 or 30 minutes, it just suddenly ends. You'll see right here, it just kind of vanishes. So I don't think it does end. It looks like it keeps going. It's just a trail stops following it. Still gotta do some hopping, get over here. So there's another trail. Another one going that way. I don't really know where I'm going, so might as well pick this one. You know, I don't think I've ever seen so many white birch trees in one spot. It's just a massive stand of white birch. So you obviously love these acidic soil conditions and very damp ground. Here's another unique little bog plant I keep seeing. It's got some pretty prickly little leaves here. A nice reddish hue. Could be green in the summer, I really don't know. But nice beautiful red in the winter. That's something I've never seen in this area. But here it just goes rampant. So once again, just birch trees as far as the eye can see, and a lot of really small shrubs, and a lot of this little red plant. So really there's only 3 plants growing in this area. But when I was researching this online, I actually found out there are some interesting carnivorous plants here. I think there's 2 species of pitcher plants. So you might be fortunate enough to see one of those. There are a couple that are underwater carnivorous plants, which I'd never heard of before. And they have little pods, kind of like the pitcher plant, but the pod stays underwater. And it'll attract little creepy crawlers that would live in these swampy conditions. So this is just a few ways these plants adapt to survive in these very low nutrient areas. Because it's so acidic, you don't get a lot of nutrients. There isn't really a river flowing into this to feed it nutrients. So everything has to come up with its own little way to get the energy it needs to survive. So this spot here has no trees really. Kind of interesting to look at. Looks like at one point in time this trail went off in that distance. But so this is a Wainfleet Bog. Not a place you'd want to be if it weren't for these trails here. So even though I'm not a fan of the fact that this was once farmed for peat, I am thankful in a way, because if it weren't for that, we wouldn't have these tracks. It's really made it available for us to explore and enjoy. Clearing right now, and I was following a nice little trail, and it just kind of abruptly ended here. I could go further, but I'm going to get pretty wet if I try. Now all of this area, I'm guessing because of the lack of trees, that this is one of the sections they farmed. Hard to really tell. There is something way off in the distance that looks very unnatural, but not sure if it's worth trying to get to. Probably some old structure I'd love to check out. Well, this main trail got a bit swampy. It is frozen actually, even though it's not that cold. But no point in attempting to walk across it, because the trail leads back up on these train tracks again. But it's very, very overgrown. So you don't do it for long, you just kind of zigzag, come back out here. Once again, swampy. Stick to the edge here, and just bypassed all of that. Now there's a little bridge there so the train can get over this swampy area, but this spot here seems pretty sturdy. So back on the trail. Looks like it kind of veers off here. So I don't know if this is a trail or what this is, but it's not defined enough for me to try and follow it. Thing is, when you're out in a place like this, you really want to stick to the trail. You don't want to end up knee deep in a peat bog. So stick to the trail and you should be alright. There's an interesting little structure. It looks like some kind of a stand for hunting. That might be what I saw in the area I just was at. It was far enough away that I couldn't really make out what it was. But looks like this is a trail to get to it. It looks like a lot of dogs have come through here. Nice big pad of frozen peat here. If you ever need some peat for your garden, this is a spot to get it. So that hole there could very well be the home of a snake or something else. Well, it's definitely a hunting spot. A couple buckets left behind, which I'm not too thrilled about. And there's a shotgun shell, so some rounds were fired in this area. Yeah, that structure, I still see it way off in the distance there, but still not sure what it is. Probably another hunting stand. As for this area here, there's really no trees. It's kind of creepy here. So there's a nice open flat here. It's all fairly dry peat. The trail follows right through here. Once again, you got your train tracks over here. Now, I can't see anything because of the sun, but just gonna head over here, and you'll see that these trees are young enough that they've grown right through these train tracks. So, hope to give you an idea of how long these tracks have been abandoned. I keep going between putting my sunglasses on and taking them off. Can't seem to decide today. A lot of fallen birch out here. Seems to thrive out here, but at the same time, doesn't always remain standing that long. Here's an interesting little fern that keeps poking up through the moss. I'm not sure what that would be. Looks like a little mini pine tree, but based on the fact that I haven't seen a single evergreen out here, I really doubt that's what it is. So, once again, I'm losing my trail. Keep seeing a lot of these droppings too. Not sure who those belong to. Too big of a pile to be a mouse. Don't think it's a snake. They usually have a lot of hair in it. That's got a clump right there. They do look a lot like deer droppings to me, but it's my understanding there were no deer out here. Whew, back on the trail. So I'm not going to follow this too much longer. I've got to head home while it's still daylight. Spots like this give you an idea of what's all been through here. A lot of footprints, and most of them are people or dog prints.